Here. This is third part of series How to Winter Camp, and in this episode we are going to talk about hammocks. So everything you need to know about camping with a hammock in winter. So the first thing we need to talk about is hammocks. So basically you're using any hammock you have. It doesn't matter is it some cheap hammock from AliExpress or Amazon, or it's some professional hammock, whatever, or some DIY hammock, it doesn't matter, they all work. So in this case I'm going to use this One Wind Tempest 11-foot zippered hammock. Okay, I'm going to set it up and then we talk about next gear you need for winter. Peace! So the next thing you need is insulation. It means you need underquilt. There are many options on the market you can choose from. For example, this is synthetic underquilt from One Wind. If using one layer, it's good down to 0 degrees Celsius. So if you want to use it down to -10 or 12, you're gonna need add a sleeping blanket. So this one is sleeping blanket. So it's the same size as the underquilt. It basically connects to your underquilt and now you can use it down to -12 degrees Celsius. But this is synthetic, so one piece of it weighs around 1 kilogram. So you're gonna need 2 kilograms to be able to sleep in sub-zero temperatures. So this setup is good down to -12 degrees Celsius. I believe you can go even lower, as I did with this one, down to -10. But for that you need experience to do so. So this is one option. You can choose synthetic underquilt. And of course there are other manufacturers you can choose from. But don't buy those ones with a cotton filling, because cotton is no for camping. If you want synthetic, use synthetic, okay? So the next is down underquilt. So this is Equinox from One Wind. With this stuff you can go down to -17 degrees Celsius. Wow, yeah. And this thing is light and compresses very well, you see? But keep in mind, down gear is very expensive. And also, if it gets wet, you are done. So that's why many people like synthetic as military. They use synthetic sleeping bags, because when they get wet, they still work. And of course, you can make underquilt yourself, like I did. And if you guys want to see tutorial how to make one, check this video over here. I made it from a cheap sleeping bag from Home Depot. That's actually summer sleeping bag with comfort limit of +15 degrees Celsius. But I've been using this one in -10 degrees Celsius with a thick sleeping bag, with the underquilt protector and windsock. and tarp on the top. So this is basically rectangular shape sleeping bag sandwiched between fabrics with added suspension with different configurations of tuning. Make sure your underquilt can handle temperatures you are camping in. It's better to have some headroom, of course. And like I mentioned before, of course you can stack underquilts together, it's not a problem. So you place one underquilt on your hammock and the next one place it a bit loose so it not compresses the previous underquilt, because your insulation should be fluffy and puffy. So I will show you how to stack underquilts together. Let's go. So just straightforward, just attach your first underquilt. And of course it's good idea not to touch the ground. As it is now, it is -5 degrees Celsius and it's not a big deal if it even touches the ground. The snow is not wet, everything is dry, but keep that in mind. It's better to leave everything off the ground. Okay, let's do this. So make sure you close all the gaps on the ends. So for demonstration purposes, I'm going to use this down underquilt. But this bad boy itself is good down to -17 degrees Celsius. Oh my god, this is a real bad boy. Imagine if temperature is even lower, so you need to stack two underquilts together. So you attach your next underquilt a little bit loose from the bottom. Don't compress previous underquilt. And for example, if it's down, it's better to put down like outer layer, because down, if you compress down, it's useless. Okay, so attach down from the outside. That's my opinion. But if you have two down underquilts, of course you just stack them together. Just make sure that outer underquilt is not compressing the inner. Okay, let's do this. So the underquilt for your hammock is the same as a sleeping mat for ground sleeping, okay? So this acts as a protection from the beneath. And of course, don't forget to close the gaps on the end. And keep in mind, some of underquilts have a baffle inside. That's very nice for winter. So it's much better dealing with trapping heat inside and blocking wind. Because in all underquilts, the ends are weak spot. If there is some gap and wind is going inside, you're gonna be cold. But also, do not cinch too hard, because it will create some wrinkles and gaps. You need to place it hard as needed. So everything is tuning. You tune your underquilt. It should be like a jacket. It's close to you, but it's not compressing, okay? If you do it like this, maximum, there is no more stretch. And if you're gonna be laying inside diagonally, it will be too tight. You need to leave some space for expanding. Okay, because you're gonna be inside diagonally and it will take the shape you need. So same on the other end, of course. Okay. I'm also suggesting to use underquilt protector, because underquilt protector will close up all the gaps and will trap some heat inside and will add few degrees to your sleeping system. So this is actually homemade underquilt protector, and if you guys want to see the tutorial how to make one, check this video, okay? Or you can buy one. And for extra comfort, you can also use two of them. So basically you sandwich your underquilt from the both sides. One goes just on your hammock, then underquilt, then again protector, and that's it. In that way, you are sandwiching your underquilt by trapping even more heat inside. Okay, I will put just one because normally you will use just one, but I've tried by using two, you will be even warmer. I'm going to use this underquilt protector from One Wind. This is very nice stuff. It is long and it will cover fully your underquilt. And this thing weighs nothing. So, like I've mentioned before, I'm suggesting to use underquilt protector all year round. But keep in mind, normally you will set up your tarp first, especially when it's raining or snowing, because at the moment my gear is getting wet from the snow. But it is hard to film under tarp, there is not enough light, so I'm doing it backwards, okay? So remember, at first you set up your tarp and then you set up your hammock. Of course, if it's not raining and if it's not snowing, you do it this way, because this is easier. There is more free space and so on. Okay, enough talking. Let's put it up. Or put it down, we should say. From down, up. Woo! It will handle some tiny rain for not long period, okay? The main purpose for this one is to keep some breeze away by closing all the gaps, and second one is by trapping more heat inside, so it will add few degrees to your sleeping system. Nice one. So as you can see, it seals completely this underquilt. Voila! Nice one. And believe me, underquilt protector makes a huge difference. I know, I've been camping in winter, in summer, in all seasons. And without it, actually it's even cold in the summer. Because one gap and the right wind direction in there, you are done, you will be cold. But with this one, as you can see, it closes up everything nicely. So the next level is same as for ground sleeping. You need some sleeping bag, top quilt or blankets, whatever. And if you guys want to know about sleeping bags, just check second part of this series. So I'm gonna say short. You can use sleeping bags, you can use top quilts, and you can stack them together. And there is formula for calculating the new comfort limit if you're stacking two sleeping bags together. It goes like that. You take comfort limit of one sleeping bag, add comfort limit of the next sleeping bag, then minus 25, then plus 7. And you're gonna have your new temperature rating by stacking two quilts or sleeping bags together. But I'm talking here about degrees Celsius. I'm not talking about Fahrenheit, okay? So you need to convert everything and do that way. And that formula actually is quite accurate. So you need some sleeping bag or top quilt. In the hammocks, it's more comfortable to use top quilts. But you can still use sleeping bags. And with the sleeping bags, it will be a little bit warmer too. Only thing with the sleeping bag, when you're getting inside it, it is very hard to do in a hammock. So you will be better off by placing some foam pad on the ground, then standing on it, put your legs through, zip to the waist, and then sit inside the hammock. Otherwise, it's very hard to do inside the hammock. So that's why top quilts are superior to sleeping bags. It's very easy to use. You just sleep inside your hammock Put your legs inside the food box and cover yourself as with a blanket. That's it, super easy. And like I said in the second part, you can stack your sleeping bags and stack your top quilts. It's not a problem. Just make sure you are using proper rating for temperatures you are camping in. It's better to have some headroom. 5 to 10 degrees is very nice for headroom. So for demonstration purposes I'm going to use this one wind top quilt. This is 2 degrees top quilt, it's not for winter, but like I mentioned in the previous episode, you can stack 2 of these together and get some nice temperature ratings. If you stack 2 degrees top quilts, you will get minus 14 degrees Celsius comfort rating. Okay, let's do this. And always remember with your top quilts and the sleeping bags and under quilts, fluff them up before you're using them. It's actually crucial, otherwise you could be cold. So that's it. Now you are protected from the beneath, from the sides and from the top. You can use of course some insulated pillow, or like I'm doing, I'm using my jacket under my neck. And so on. Also, you can use foam pad like this under your feet. It works perfectly fine. Or you can use some down booties or all together, depending on the situation of course. And actually there is one more thing. I think windsock is very helpful for winter hammock camping. So this is basically a sock that goes over your hammock. And it will create like a floating tent. You're gonna be inside your own environment. This is very good for adding few degrees to your sleeping system and to fight off the breeze. Very nice product. This is from One Wind. So let's put it on. As you can see, it's basically a sock that goes over your hammock. So now it's like a floating tent with the 2 windows. And from the other side there's also a zipper. So you are floating inside a cocoon. So this system will definitely add some degrees and you will feel much more comfortable in the wind and in the winter. And the next last thing is tarp. So you can use just a simple 3 by 3 meter tarp in a floating diamond configuration, or you can use some other tarp with the doors. You can use some ripstop, or if you want to spend more money, you can use Dyneema. It will be much lighter and Dyneema doesn't stretch. And it looks very cool in winter because it's normally in white color. So when you are placing your tarp, place as low as possible. Lower it is, warmer it will be. I like to use tarp with the doors, but my most extreme hammock camping was done by a simple 3 by 3 meter tarp, no problem. So use any tarp you have. Of course, you can stay as it is now, but believe me, if it will be snowing and there will be more wind, always use a tarp. My girl, this is my girl Lily. Okay. Now you are ready to experience your first winter hammock camping and also ground camping if you watched all 3 parts of series How to Winter Camp. You girl! So that's it for this video. I hope you learned something. Maybe it was entertaining. As usual, stay safe, leave no trace, be good to other people and get out to the nature. So see you on the next one. Peace.